Hello.
Hi, how are you? Come on in.
Oh, thank you.
Miss
Hi.
Thomas, right?
Yes, Miss Hay. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to finally meet you. What brings you here today?
Okay, well, I received some of Morgan's scores, and I just wanted to meet with you to just go over them, make sure I fully understand where she is in the class and such.
Okay, and what subject area are you referring to? Would you like me to
Math.
explain? Oh, math. All right.
Yes.
Okay. What can I help you with?
Okay, so Morgan's level is based on her scale score. But what is a scale score?
Okay, well, the raw score is the child's or Morgan's actual score. So that would be if there are 27 questions on the test or however many questions on the test, these are the points that she got for each of those questions. That's what that means. Now, what the people who score the test do is that they take that raw score and then they translate it into a scale score. So the scale score isn't her actual grade as far as like numbering and how many points she got on each question, but it's just what it's translated into.
Okay, and I was just about to ask if it was her actual score, but you answered that.
Okay.
So my next question would be, according to the most recent scale score of Morgan's performance level is a 2. What does this performance level mean?
This performance level is that she has a partial understanding of what the material is. So it's pretty much average and what it's expected as far as her understanding level at this grade.
Okay. I see that the test measured Morgan's ability in several areas called strands. Can you explain those strands? And can you also give me an example of any kind of question that Morgan might have answered for each strand?
Okay, well, in math, as is with any other subject, we have a bunch of different content areas. So basically, that's what the strands represent. The strands represent a variety of different categories in math that they would like to test the students' knowledge on. And if we just look at it together, strand 1 assesses Morgan's comprehension of numbers and operations. This means anything from adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, that sort of thing. Strand 2 assesses her ability to perform algebraic procedures accurately. And this is again adding, subtracting of monomials with exponents, so that's sort of taking it a step further. Strand 3 assesses her ability to identify geometric relationships. So these are different shapes and areas, surface areas of the shapes. Strand 4 assesses her whether or not she can determine what can be measured and how. So that's converting mass within a given system and things like that. Strand 5, which is the last strand, assesses her ability to organize and collect data. So this is data analysis, the range, having a set of numbers and doing things with it and analyzing those numbers. Did I answer your question? You have a better understanding of what the strands are?
Yes, that put a lot of things in perspective.
Okay.
So the report mentions an SPI. Is that the same thing as Morgan's scale score?
The SPI is actually not the same as the scale score. The SPI is the percentage of error in the test.
Oh.
So they understand that the test isn't perfect. The test isn't perfect, and because these are actually people that generate the test and things. So when they're done giving the test, they go back and they calculate how much error, or what questions probably weren't really worded right. How many, a lot of students got this question wrong. That might mean that we didn't exactly give them the information they needed to answer the question properly. So the SPI scores the percentage of error in the test. So the two are completely different things.
Okay. That makes a little better. So does an SPI of 99 mean 99% correct on the test?
No, this actually means that that's what she would have gotten if there were 100 items on the test. So again, there are only a few items in each strand or in the test overall. So they're not 100. So this calculates, this is what it would look like.
Okay. So what is an SPI target range and how does it relate to Morgan's SPI?
The target range is how much they think is going to be wrong on the test. So for example, the target range for the first strand is 12 points. So this means that her SPI may not really be 67. What that means with calculating in the 12 points, it's not really 67. It could be anywhere from 55 to 79.
Okay. So I have Morgan's report from last year. When I look at the two most recent reports, I see that Morgan's performance in some strands has drastically changed. Are these real changes?
That's a really good question, and it's good that you're paying attention to a lot of these changes because some people don't really pick up on them. You know, from last year, they had a standard for how they wanted to. They had a cut point for what they considered to be a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. So what they might have done is change that cut point, either lowered it or raised it, which would give maybe Morgan has the same sort of performance level, but because they raised or lowered the cut point, now she has a different score.
Okay. So doesn't the way the test is constructed impact how Morgan performs? And what was the test like last year, and how might it have shaped Morgan's score?
It might. It does tell us something as far as what might be some of the specific areas that she needs help in or what we might be able to work more on. But as I mentioned before, the cut point has changed. So it's not anything to be alarmed about, and it's something that we could definitely work towards improving as far as Morgan's performance in these different levels.
Okay. What can you tell me about Morgan's performance as it relates to the performance of her peers?
Okay, well, her peers scored higher than her, so Morgan is currently at a lower level than her peers, again because the cut point was raised by I'm not sure if I mentioned, the state education department, and so it's lower, but again something we can work on.
Okay. Well, that's good for me. So what would you suggest that I can do so she doesn't feel left out around her friends and stuff?
What I would say is that in the classroom, Morgan isn't someone who lags behind or who is performing significantly a sort of unmatched to her peers. You know, she still gets through the work. She does all the work that she needs to do. I would just say, and granted, she wouldn't be able to even understand the scores, the way the test is scoring, you know. But as far as what we can do to ensure that the next time around, the grades that we see are better and the way she matches up to her peers is different, it would be a sort of a gradual kind of thing. So even integrating math into her everyday work schedule and in a way that it's not really tedious, you know. So doing word problems and things like that, definitely that she likes first, and then gradually moving up, maybe even sticking it in at random points in the day, maybe when she's having her leisure time or watching TV or something like that. In commercial breaks, she'll do a math problem, and it's something that's going to take some gradual moving up so that by this time again next year we see different and improved results.
Okay, so what did Morgan do well on, and what does she need to work on?
Okay, so if we can go back to the strands, the first and fifth strand, Morgan did really well on. So adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing integers, and then again with the calculating and analyzing data, because it's, you know, it's right there for you, it's simple. In the middle is where it kind of gets difficult, it seems, for Morgan. So that's in strands 2 and 3. That's in performing algebraic procedures accurately and the relationships in geometric figures. So those two specifically are where Morgan needs help on. So it seems as though the work sort of higher up from the simple adding and subtracting, and not saying that this is something that she can't accomplish or get done. Again, it'll just take work to move up and progress in her skills as far as a math student.
Okay, so the bottom line is, should I trust this information about Morgan or not?
I wouldn't. I don't recommend that you stress about it. I mean, it's definitely something that tells us, hey, this is what she might need a little bit more work on, especially if you want, what our goal is to produce better results on these tests, or even just to raise her abilities, what she thinks she can do in math, and help her grow as a math student. So the test is just a sample. It has a sort of track. Your child meets the state standards and is on track for college. So it's not something that I would worry about. It's just kind of like, it's there and it's something to work on.
Wow, well, thank you. I feel a lot better after coming and stuff. Yeah.
You're welcome. I mean, that's what I recommend for everyone, because even the first time I glanced at them, they're difficult to understand, and it's good that you took the initiative to come in and talk about it.
Oh, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.